The bells of King's Landing told the hour of the wolf, that forlorn, breath-holding hush before dawn when sane men clung to sleep and fools nursed cups too deep. Yet in the Tower of the Hand, light bled through a thin crack beneath a heavy oaken door. Inside, Eddard Stark stood alone before the slender arrow slit of a window, watching night's last embers smolder across Blackwater Bay. The salty haze stung his eyes, and he told himself it was only the wind that made them water, not the thousand memories surging behind them. Robert Baratheon was dying. Though the raven carried the words upon a sealed ribbon 5 days past, Ned had felt the truth long before ink dried. He had seen it in the King's Gate, the tilt of mead-bloated shoulders, the bruise-purple flush beneath his beard, the exhaustion that turned the stag's roar into a hollow cough. Now the boar's tusks that raked Robert's belly had only hastened what ale and sorrow had begun. A lesser man might have whispered a prayer to the Seven for deliverance. Ned Stark prayed for time. Time to guard his children. Time to shepherd a realm poised on the knife edge of treachery. Time to decide whether honor must yield to necessity, and whether the chill running down his spine was mere dread or the first cold kiss of Winterfell's ghosts reminding him who he was. He heard the scrape of steel behind him. Harwin stepped inside, helm tucked beneath one arm, face set in earnest apology. "Lord Stark," he began, voice pitched low. "Lord Renly is at the gates of Maegor's Holdfast with 100 men of the Rainbow Guard. They say the king worsens by the hour." Ned turned. Candle flame threw long shadows across his gray-flecked beard, painting lines of care deeper than his age alone should bear. "Summon Ser Barristan," he said, "and have Lord Stannis found wherever he is. Tell him his brother's hour is near. The small council will convene in the Red Keep Solar before first light." A pause. "Fetch Lord Varys as well, and inform Lord Baelish that his presence is required." Harwin's brows knit. "Lord Baelish has not returned from Chitaya's, M-Lord. The guards saw him cross the Street of Silk before moonrise. Then let a runner stand at the door of his pleasures till he does return," Ned answered, bitterness threading the command. "Go!" Alone again, he exhaled. Leaving King's Landing for Winterfell had never seemed sweeter, but departure was a dream he dared not savor. He imagined Robb's broadening shoulders, Sansa's lilting excitement regarding the Queen's fashions, little Rickon asking after the direwolves thrice a day. Arya would scowl to hear herself mentioned at all, and Bran. Best not to think of Bran, not when ice might break within. A knock split the hush. Maester Pycelle shuffled in, white-bearded and ponderous, clutching a scroll that bore the royal stag and crowned lion entwined. "Lord Stark," Pycelle wheezed. "His grace grows weaker. They fear the dawn may be his last." Ned pinched the bridge of his nose. "Have you bled him again?" "Leeched, my lord. Leeches balance the humors." "Enough." Ned strode across the chamber, boots scuffing rushes. "What of milk of the poppy?" "Too much may still his breath." His grace refused more. Said he must speak of heirs of regency. Said he would face the stranger like a boar in rut, with eyes wide. That sounded like Robert. Ned felt his heart tighten. "Then we shall give him words before strength fails," he replied. "Ready a litter to bring him to the Tower of the Hand." Pycelle's jaw dropped. "My lord? Move the king." "He has been moved enough by flatterers and poisoned tongues," Ned said. "Let him be moved once for honesty." He dismissed Pycelle and reached for the wolf fur cloak draped over his chair. The weight across his shoulders steadied him. The North come south to remind him that oathbreakers never slept easy. He remembered the heat of Lyanna's hand in his, remembered cold promises made at her bedside, and wondered if breaking one vow to preserve all others was folly or fate. The corridors leading to Maegor's Holdfast lay hushed but not empty. Gold cloaks stood at each archway, their spears glistening in torchlight. Some saluted the hand. Others eyed him with uneasy respect. Rumors swirled like vultures. The king near death, the queen whispering in dark corners, princes and bastards alike circling the throne. In the yards, Ned tasted the scent of flight, horses saddled for sudden escape, grooms muttering of secret orders. He filed each sight away, a map of loyalties etched in silence. Within the king's bedchamber, the air smelled of wet leather and rot. Robert Baratheon, once the great stag, lay sprawling amid crimson silks, his girth sunken, skin waxen. Sweat beaded his brow beneath unruly black curls, silver creeping through like winter through branches. Cersei Lannister knelt by the bedside, golden hair a shining veil as she dipped cloth into rose-scented water. Joffrey stood behind her, arms folded, face pale and pinched. "Eddard," Robert rasped, cracking one eye. "Never thought I'd die fat and sweaty in bed." Bor got the last laugh. Ned forced a smile, though it felt more like a grimace. "The Boar will not sing songs of this day. Rest, Robert. Rest breaks spears," the king murmured. "Write, Ned. Write my words." He gestured with a trembling hand toward a table where parchment and quill awaited. "Call Renly, call Stannis. The realm needs truth." Maester Pycelle hovered near, but Ned motioned him aside, taking seat at the table. His fingers tightened round the quill. Robert's eyes flicked to Cersei. "Leave us." The queen's lips parted. "My love, leave us." The roar still carried the echo of storms. She rose, skirts rustling, and guided Joffrey out. The door thunked shut. Only Ned, Robert, Ser Barristan, and Maester Pycelle remained. Robert drew ragged breath. "I was a better knight than king. Never loved the crown. Loved Lyanna." His gaze touched Ned, remorse ancient and raw. "I'm sorry, old friend."
Ned swallowed.
"You need not.
I do.
I hunted your sister's ghost down every cup of wine. Could never catch her. She haunts me now the way Cersei never could." Ned's pulse thundered. He dipped quill to ink. "Tell me your will." "Joffrey is not ready." The king coughed, crimson spotting his beard. "Too green. Realm will tear. So, until he comes of age, you, Ned, you shall rule as Lord Regent, Protector." The words hung in torchlight like frost. Ned wrote, hands steady though his lungs felt hollow. He replaced "my son Joffrey" with "my rightful heir," as Robert murmured, compelled by honor and haunted suspicion both. When the seal was pressed, Robert sagged back, as though the stamp drew his last ounce of strength. "Promise me," he whispered, "they will not bury me in this southern muck. Bury me with Lyanna beneath the weirwood at Winterfell. I would deserve so little, yet grant me that." Tears pricked Ned's eyes. "I swear it." Robert closed his eyes. A ragged sigh fluttered between cracked lips, perhaps peace at last, or perhaps the final thread snapping.
Ser Barristansli Ned face flickered.
"Shall I fetch the queen?"
Ned stood. "No."
"Not yet." He turned to Pycelle. "You will witness. His Grace named me Protector. The seal is here." Pycelle bowed. "It shall be as you say, Lord Protector." Ned felt the title's chill more than its weight. 3 hours later, sunrise bled crimson over King's Landing, as if mimicking the king's still bleeding wound. Word spread swift. Robert Baratheon, first of his name, was dead. Ned Stark summoned the small council to the solar beneath a colored glass dome. Varys glided in like a moth to a candle. Renly arrived armorless yet steel-eyed. Littlefinger slunk in with a sly yawn, claiming he barely had time to tuck his shirt. Grand Maester Pycelle settled second, scrolls rattling. Only Stannis' chair sat empty, the elder Baratheon said to be aboard his ship sailing for Dragonstone 2 days prior. The absence sounded alarm in Ned's mind. Ned unfolded the sealed will. "His Grace appointed me Lord Regent until his heir comes of age." Renly leaned forward. "His heir? You mean Joffrey?" Ned chose words like daggers on ice. "I mean his lawful son, born of his body." He locked eyes with Renly, then Varys. The spider betrayed nothing. Littlefinger's mouth twitched. "Cersei's whelp is born of his body," Renly said. "We cannot proclaim otherwise before realm and gods." Ned thought of black-haired bastards in smoky taverns, of a book of lineages weighed in his saddlebag. "And yet we would be blind to proceed without caution," he countered. The Queen's Twins by Jaime Lannister bear the lion's mane. I have proof. Littlefinger laughed softly. Proof is one thing. Soldiers are another. Ned ignored him. By Robert's will the hand commands the city watch. I propose we secure the Red Keep, guard Tommen and Myrcella, and place Joffrey under careful watch until a council of regents may. Renly slammed palm to table. Nonsense. Arrest the Queen and each of her children. Crown Lord Stannis this morning. We have sworn fealty to King Robert's blood, not Lannister sin. Varys raised a delicate hand. My lords, blood flows easiest when fear guides swords. Joffrey commands half the court's affections. A seizure of children would brand us monsters in song. Better than fools sung bleeding. Renly shot back. Ned cut through. Enough. I will act with honor. Littlefinger grinned. Honor is a noose woven of gold. Ned rose. Ser Barristan commands the Kingsguard. The Goldcloaks serve Lord Commander Janos Slynt, who swore to me privately that his loyalty is to the realm. Lord Stannis will be summoned to claim what is rightfully his. Until then, the Queen shall remain in her chambers. No word leaves the castle unmarked. And if she refuses? Renly asked. Ned's voice hardened. Then she will know the North keeps its promises. Renly's green eyes glimmered admiration, yet concern shadowed them too. I will rally my household knights, though they are few. Ser Loras rides at my side. Littlefinger rose, bowing with flourish. And I will rally the purse. Coin can buy tongues so long as heads stay fixed to their necks. Varys inclined his own smooth skull. I shall seek birds. He floated out. Only Pycelle lingered to affix seal to the parchment. When done, he tottered from the room, leaving Ned alone beside sunlight pooling ruby through red glass. He flexed ice-stiff fingers. He thought of his father in chains, his brother strangled by Pyre, thought of promises broken by kings who swore brotherhood. Honor would have to wield a knife this day, else drown beneath Lannister gold. By midday, Goldcloaks fanned through the Red Keep, redeploying at Ned's orders. He appointed guards he trusted, men of House Buckwell, Cunnington, Harding, and those sworn to House Stark through old blood ties. He kept the Dyrwanines and Chelsteads near the armory, leaving Lannister men to corridors farthest from the throne room. The clatter of plate echoed like thunder across the stone. Cersei was summoned to the Hand's chambers. She arrived cloaked in emerald, rampant lion clasp at her breast. Her green eyes glittered contempt. You dare bar me from my own son? She spat before the door closed. I bar deception from the realm, Ned answered. Robert named me protector. She laughed, musical, mocking. Robert named you half his heart when you rode south. Hearts change. Ask Jon Arryn. She prowled closer, scent of myrrh and ash. You have a gentle face, Lord Stark. Do you have a gentle heart? Think of your daughters. Think of the North. Ned's hand twitched toward Ice's absent weight. The Valyrian blade slept in Winterfell's crypt. You threaten innocence? A lioness protects her cubs. Threat and promise are one. She drew forth a folded parchment of her own, gold wax broken. This is Robert's last edict, naming me Regent Joffrey King. She tossed it on the desk. Choose swiftly, bend or break. Ned scanned the parchment. The signature seemed Robert's, yet the hand shook. Lines overlapped, evidence of forging or of Robert's failing sight. He folded it closed. You forget one thing, your grace. Cersei arched a brow. I do not bend. Her smile thinned to a blade. Then you will break. She swept out.
Ned exhaled, pels trumming.
He called for Captain Jory Castle. When the man arrived, cloak dusted gray, Ned clasped his shoulder. Find my daughters. Escort them to the dock. A fisherman named Tom will sail them north along the coast tonight.
No dilas.
Jory's jaw clenched. What of you, my lord? I remain, but I would sleep easier knowing they were safe. He watched Jory depart, shadows leaping behind him. In the gods wood Ned knelt beneath a weirwood transplanted from black earth centuries ago. Its albino trunk twisted skyward, leaves weeping crimson like fresh wounds. Ned pressed a palm to the face carved into the bark, eyes closed. Old gods, he prayed, guide my hand. Give me foresight as sharp as ice. Spare the innocent, and let the realm see truth before blood shapes lies unending. A wind stirred, leaves sighing above. Footsteps crunched gravel behind him. You pray to trees? Renly asked, folding arms. Ned rose. To the gods that hear. May they grant us swifter victory than your Northron winters, Renly said, but his grin faded. I have news. The gold cloaks are uncertain. Janos Slint will not commit until he sees silver. Littlefinger promised coin. Littlefinger promises many things. Renly's tone bore warning. Loras swears half the watch belongs to his purse already. He hesitated. There is another path. Crown me king. I'll wed Marjorie, unite the reach. Men love me. Ned studied him. Are you your brother's heir? By law, Stannis is, but by hearts? Hearts choose power that laughs. His smile died. Stannis is iron, but rusted. He cannot win them. With your backing, I could. Ned shook his head. If the realm forgets law, we are beasts. I will not name a new king while a rightful one lives. Joffrey, Renly scoffed.
Stannis, Ned replid.
Renly sighed. Then we dance upon razors. When the queen strikes, she will not miss twice. Ned placed a hand on his shoulder. Gather your men anyway. Guard the king's hall. Tonight we move. The sunset cast blood-red light across their faces, as though the gods accepted the bargain. Dusk painted the red keep in rose and violet. Servants whispered of ravens flying east, of Tywin Lannister marching with 20,000, of Stannis' sails unfurling at Dragonstone. Ned's jaw ached from clenched teeth. Littlefinger arrived near moonrise, breath sweet with arbor wine. The deed is done, he murmured, handing a purse of silver stags. Janos Slint will curry favor for the right master.
Favor.
Ned asked. A lordship. Harrenhal, perhaps. Ned nearly laughed. Harrenhal is cursed. Curses are myths until gold chinks through the halls. Littlefinger's grin flashed. All men dream, Lord Stark. Some dream of honor, others of coin. Yours is the rarer coin. Ned pocketed the purse. If this buys loyalty, let it purchase peace. Peace is dear. I would not wager it on one night's work. Midnight. Torches lined the corridor to the throne room. Renly's men, 20 knights bright in green, posted at doors. Loras Tyrell twirled a rose-engraved helm in restless fingers. Ser Barristan stalked ahead, white cloak swirling. They entered the hall. The iron throne loomed, spiked and shadowed, forged of 1,000 bent blades. Joffrey stood before it in crimson doublet, golden crown upon golden curls. Cersei sat the first step, smile cold. Beside them, Sandor Clegane rested a gauntlet hand on his greatsword. Half the Kingsguard flanked them. The hound's burned visage leered at shadows. Ned stopped 10 paces away. Behind him, 50 gold cloaks bristled in lines. Cersei's voice carried like silk over steel. Lord Stark, we hear you bring tidings of treason. I bring Robert's will. Ned lifted the parchment. Torches flickered. He named me Lord Regent until his heir of true blood comes of age. Joffrey's face flushed. I am of true blood. Ned's heart hammered. The king's seed is strong, black of hair. He glanced to Ser Barristan, to Renly, to each who had read Jon Arryn's book. Golden hair is not the Baratheon line. Murmurs rippled. Cersei rose. Words enough. She snapped fingers. Lannister guards filed in from side doors, red cloaks, crimson shields. The gold cloaks tensed. Ned lifted voice. Seize the queen and her children. Hold them unharmed till Stannis Baratheon is crowned. He turned to Janos Slint. Do your duty. Slint stepped forward, then knelt before Joffrey. I serve the king. Ned's blood iced. Littlefinger appeared at his shoulder, dagger's edge pressing Ned's ribs. I did warn you not to trust me, he whispered. Renly shouted, drawing steel. Tyrell knights raised shields. Chaos erupted. Gold cloaks turned on one another. Lannister spears thrust. Torchlights spun in sparks. Ned ducked as a sword flashed. He gripped Littlefinger's wrist, twisting. The dagger fell, he kicked it away. Around them screams echoed. Ser Barristan parried 2 guards. Snow-white cloak streaked crimson. The hound laughed, cleaving gold and green alike. Renly slashed at a red cloak, but another pierced his thigh. Loras dragged him back, covering retreat. Ned fought toward the doors, voice hoarse. Winterfell! 2 red cloaks lunged. He slammed one with pommel, turned the other's thrust and knocked him flat. A mace struck his shoulder, spinning him. Pain flared. He staggered. Jory Castle burst through the fray, sword red. My lord, Sansa is seized. Arya fled. The docks. A crossbow bolt hit Jory's neck. Blood spurted. Ned caught him as he fell, eyes glazing. Rage surged like northern storm. He roared, hewed downward, splitting helm and skull. He grabbed ice from a fallen foe. Not his, but it sang. Littlefinger backed away, face ashen. Eilt, stark. Yield and live. Ned advanced, blade dripping. Guards swarmed. Cudgels rose. He cut 2 before a spear point pierced his thigh. Another struck his ribs. Fingers numbed. He fell to one knee. Cersei's voice rang. Enough! Keep him alive. She stepped forward, green gaze triumphant. The North will learn obedience. Ned forced breath. The North remembers. Blood pooled beneath him, hot. His vision blurred. From far off he heard Renly shouting retreat. White cloaks clashing. The boom of distant bells. Gold and red banners tangled. Darkness crept in, cold and heavy. Yet he felt at peace, oddly, for honor had fought and not yielded. As torchlight dimmed, he saw the face in the weirwood again and thought he heard ice crack beneath a wolf's howl. He awoke chained in a windowless cell, walls oozing damp, the taste of rust on tongue. Pain lanced hip to rib. He shifted. Manacles clinked. Footsteps echoed. A key grated. Varys slipped in, robes whispering. Lord Stark, he said softly. You live, and that is no small feat, Ned rasped. My daughters. Sansa is in the Queen's care, treated kindly for now. Arya escaped the castle. We know not where. Relief warred with dread. Renly fled south with Ser Loras. The gold cloaks declared for Joffrey. Stannis sails for King's Landing even now, banners black over storm seas.
Ned exhaled.
Then war is certain. Varys inclined his head. Unless the lion and the wolf learn to share. Ned's laugh was dry bone. Lions share nothing. Even so, the boy king demands your confession. Confess treason. Bend knee, he may spare you, and perhaps your daughters. Ned closed his eyes. Winterfell's snows blew through memory. Lynna's whisper, promise me. If truth condemns innocence, then truth is a weapon. I will not give it to Cersei. Varys sighed. Stubborn wolves freeze first. Yet they endure winter, Ned whispered. In the Red Keep's throne room days later, the Iron Throne cast jagged shadows upon the marble. Joffrey sat crowned, Cersei beside him. Nobles packed the gallery, whispers coiling like smoke. Ned Stark, gaunt and bound, was dragged forth. His hair hung matted, face bruised. Grand Maester Pycelle read charges. Conspiracy, treason, intent to usurp. Ned's gaze swept the crowd. Sansa, pale, eyes pleading. Littlefinger unreadable behind half-smile. Janos Slynt, now cloaked in Lannister crimson. Ser Barristan absent, rumors saying he quit the guard in disgust. Joffrey stood. Lord Eddard Stark, how plead you? Ned's throat felt sand. He looked at Sansa's tear-rimmed eyes, thought of Arya hiding in alleys, thought of Robb mustering at Winterfell. Honor warred with blood. He opened lips, the hall hushed, but thunder cracked beyond the walls. A boom shivered pillars. Another roar, great horns sounding from the bay. A herald burst in, breathless. Ships, black sails, red heart, Storm's End banners. Stannis Baratheon in Blackwater Bay, gasped. Cersei's face blanched. Ned straightened. Chains rattled like winter wind. The rightful king comes, he said, voice rising. Release me, and I will stay swords. Hold me, and you will drown in blood. Joffrey's eyes blazed. Kill him. Kill the traitor now, Sansa screamed. But doors slammed open again. Renly stormed and flanked by Tyrell knights, swords drawn. Stand back, he cried. This boy has no right. I claim the throne by Robert's will until the realm is safe. Chaos. Guards hesitated, swords scraping in decision. Ned felt chains loosen. Littlefinger stood behind him, key in hand, eyes glittering. Chaos, he whispered, is a ladder. The manacles fell. Ned seized a fallen sword. Hall erupted, Tyrell green against Lannister red against Goldcloak bronze. Joffrey shrieked as the hound yanked him behind scythes of steel. Cersei fled toward a side door, clutching Tommen. Ned pushed through throng toward Sansa. She sobbed, clutching his arm. Father, stay close, he murmured, guiding her behind a pillar. Renly clashed with the Kingsguard. Tyrells pressed forward. Sudden horns outside signaled Stannis's men breaching city gates. Towers rang with alarm bells. Ned saw Littlefinger vanish in the tumult, smug grin lingering like shadow. He gathered Sansa's hand. We must reach the river. He scanned for allies. Ser Barristan burst in, white cloak swirling, blade wet scarlet. The old knight joined Ned's side. For honor, he said simply. They fought corridor to corridor, stepping over corpses painted crimson and gold. Smoke drifted, fires starting. Through arched windows, Ned glimpsed Blackwater Bay alive with sails, siege towers rolling toward mudflats. At the stable yard, Arya leapt from atop a hayloft, wolfish eyes fierce, wooden practice sword swapped for real steel. I knew they'd keep you, she grinned, though tear tracks stained grime. Ned's heart soared. You did well, little wolf. He hugged her tight. They mounted horses. Ned, Sansa, Arya, Ser Barristan, and a handful of Northmen. Bells clanged behind as they galloped through Postern Gate, slipping past skirmishes where Baratheon Black clashed with Lannister Red. Smoke spooled into dawn light. Ned reined at the crest of Aegon's high hill, glancing back. The Red Keep speared the sky, banners torn, dragons of stone spitting firelit shadows. He felt no triumph, only the cold breath of winter upon his neck, whispering that this was but the first snowflake of a blizzard. Honor had raised its banner, and all the realm would bleed before spring. The King's Road stretched north like a gray ribbon. They rode in silence, broken only by hooves and distant thunder of war behind. Sansa leaned against her father's cloak, eyes glassy. Arya rode ahead, braids whipping. Ser Barristan kept watch, sword across lap. Ned watched sunrise burn away mist. He recalled Catelyn's smile, Robb's eager stride. The comfort of hearthfire crackling in Wolf's Den ahead lay battlefields, betrayals, bones and snow, but also home and hope and a heart that beat still within the dark. He lifted head to sky. A cold wind kissed his cheek, carrying scent of pine and distant frost. Somewhere a lone wolf howled, and others answered, their chorus threading dawn. Ned Stark spurred his horse northward, into gathering winter, carrying the weight of a kingdom upon his shoulders, and the fragile flame of honor burning bright against the coming night. Dawn bled pale over the King's Road, rinsing the storm's black ink from the sky by slow degrees. Yet the riders who fled King's Landing felt no warmth in that feeble light. Ned Stark's cloak lay sodden on his shoulders. The night's downpour had seeped past fur and leather, and the wound at his thigh throbbed as though hammered by the hooves of every horse northbound. Beside him, Ser Barristan Selmy rode erect despite the crusted gash across his temple where a Lannister mace had kissed his helm. Sansa dozed in the saddle before her father, arms around his middle, her dreams an unquiet flutter he could sense through his back. Arya led, reins clenched tight, cheeks streaked with rain that might have been tears, though she would never name them so. For Northmen clung in a ragged wedge behind. Harwin, Hallis Malin, Quent, and Fat Tomard, all still sworn though they smelled fear on every breeze. The storm had scattered pursuers for the nonce, but Ned knew stragglers could harry behind or ahead. The King's Road bent through a wood of hoarfrost birches. Moonlight lingered in crystal droplets on their white bark. It felt eerily like winter ghosts standing witness. Ned kept his sword bare across his lap, though lifting it sent pain spiking up his side. He tried to school his breathing. Steady in, slower out. One misstep, one feint, and all was lost. "Father," Arya said without turning, "we must leave the road. Tracks are plain as banners."
Ser barris tão grande da tini nod.
Wiser to risk bush than certainty of pursuit. Ned's lips felt numb. "We angle east, skirt the river, then loop northwest past Maidenpool. If Ironman's Ford is held, we ride the bogs up to the neck." A dull plan, but the only one his throbbing head could conjure. They turned through brittle underbrush. Thorny bramble snagged Ned's boot. He tugged free, cursing the wound's flare. The white wolf embroidered on his cloak seemed small, fraying at the edges. Honor felt threadbare too. They made scarce 5 leagues by mid-morning. Sun broke thin as scraped bone through a veil of mist. They halted beside an abandoned charcoal burner's hut to water mounts and chew salt beef. Ned drank from a skin of river water and found the taste of rust uncanny to the blood on his tongue in the throne room hours before. Each swallow echoed the clang of swords still. Ser Barristan knelt to probe Ned's thigh with healer's fingers. Bone is spared, deep but clean. He bound it afresh with linen torn from his own cloak. "You have bled enough to fell a stag, Lord Stark. Rest this noon." "We rest when ice thawed from hell rains fire on King's Landing," Ned muttered, but a tremor betrayed him. Barristan pressed a hand to his shoulder, and the simple gesture, from a knight he had admired since boyhood, stole the sting from pride enough to let him sag. Far behind them, the Red Keep seethed. Cersei Lannister's voice cracked threadbare from commanding garrison suitors and stable boys alike to walls. The Hound patrolled corridors snarling orders. Joffrey sulked in his mother's solar, crown too heavy for brow yet unbowed in tantrum. Varys's whispers said Stannis Baratheon had anchored a crescent of war galleys from Massey's Hook round to the mouth of the river, chaining Blackwater Bay as if netting a leviathan. Siege towers crawled ashore under cover of scorpions. Yet Stannis did not storm, not yet. He demanded parley, a formal summoning of council lords to witness his claim. Cersei burned the summons rather than read it. Littlefinger meanwhile stepped lightly through the chaos, collecting debts like a spider tugging at each strand. Soon gold would be short, panic rich. He wagered lives as other men wagered dice, weighting the cast with rumor. Lord Tywin is 300 leagues, yet his golden lions will roar into King's Landing within a fortnight. He whispered to Queen, to steward, to butcher alike. The rumor became prayer, the prayer of vow, hold fast, the lion comes. But Tywin Lannister's host had wheeled south by southwest that dawn instead, banners snapping around Harrenhal's blackened towers, bent upon Riverland's plunder to buy time until alliances calcified. Gold was patient, war impatient. Tywin would choose when patience ended. On the second night, Ned's party reached a hedge inn slumped beside a mill pond, its signboard long fallen. Reed arrows green with rot jutted from shutter frames. Raiders from the Trident perhaps, or outlaws emboldened by royal death. The mill wheel creaked without water, a dull, broken moan. Still, the place offered walls and a loft of straw. They barred the doors, set shifts, and huddled. Sansa finally spoke above a guttering tallow stub. "Will we go back, father, once the fighting's done?" Her voice quavered on back. Whether to King's Landing gilded or Winterfell gray, he could not say. Ned brushed a tangle of auburn hair from her cheek. "Winterfell waits. This hearth is wide and wolves still guard its halls. In time, snow will cover all we fled. But only after we stand that snow's coming." He hoped the half-truth soothed. He had no illusions of swift peace. Robb would ride and Catelyn. He clenched jaw against a rush of longing. She must think him dead or captive or traitor. Arya sharpened a dagger found on a slain red cloak. Sparks danced. "We won't hide forever," she muttered, Bran and Rickon need us. Robb needs swords. Robb has many, Ned replied. He needs counsel just as sore. He thought of Maester Luwin's calm eyes and felt a pang. Hold fast, my son. The old gods guide you now. Ser Barristan sat cross-legged, white cloak bundled as pillow. The wall ever calls for men of honor, he said, half musing. Perhaps, when victory found, I will go there, sword unneeded in courts. He glanced at Arya with a small smile. And teach some who wield needle better than cleaver. The girl flushed but grinned. Ned's heart eased a fraction. Rain resumed near dawn, drumming the roof like volleys. Quent burst in from watch, eyes wild. Riders, 70 at least. No banners, but the front man's helm sports twin bull's horns. The mountain's men, no time for saddling. Ned roused daughter and drawn sword. Ser Barristan flung Gatebar aside. They splashed into the darkness just as torches flared down road. Hoofs shattered puddles, shouts rose. Harwin loosed arrow. A scream pitched, then pursuit crashed after them like wolves upon deer. Twice Ned's horse nearly stumbled in mud. Pain clawed his side anew. Sansa clung, sobbing. Arrows hissed overhead. One thudded into a trunk. Arya veered off toward dense scrub. Ned followed, low branches whipping faces. Farther and farther they plunged until hoofs sloshed into deeper water and suddenly the world opened. A flooded meadow, cattails waving like pikes. Dismount, Barristan barked. They slid into waist-deep water that sucked boots. Horses floundered, whinnied. Ned hissed as thigh wound bit cold fire. The reeds loomed tall enough to hide children, not grown men. Scatter and crawl, he breathed. Noise mislead. The mountain's riders thundered past the meadow's northern edge. Torches a ragged glow through fog. Splashes receded. Hours crawled like slugs before Ned dared straighten. Barristan crouched nearby, helm lost, white hair slicked to skull. Sansa's teeth chattered, but Arya's eyes gleamed with fierce triumph. They missed, she whispered. Ned prayed they had. Across the neck, Robb Stark summoned bannermen in Winterfell's great hall. Catelyn stood at his shoulder, face pale but set. The Ravens bore 3 missives in 2 days. First Lord Manderly's vow of swords, second Ser Helman Tallheart's riders already south. Third, the dread word of King Robert's death and rumors of Ned indicted. Grey wind stalked between benches, tail rigid, while Great John roared for blood and guts of every Lannister. Galbart Glover argued for caution. Hoster Tully ailing, Riverrun imperiled, heed the Riverlands. Meege Mormont smacked tables demanding the lion's head on pike. Robb listened, jaw clenched. He looked older than his years, shoulders squared like a stag beneath invisible antler weight. When at last silence fell, he spoke not of war but of winter, of stocking root cellars, of mending watchtowers along the wall, of ravens to bear isle warning of raiders. Duty before wrath. Yet after each order he added one more name to his war roster, as though stitching armor from calm and rage alike. By dusk 1,000 men had pledged to leave within 3 days, with Lady Catelyn riding to the twins to treat with Walder Frey for crossing of the Green Fork. Catelyn lay awake that night hearing the wolves howl. She pictured Ned on some dungeon floor, or galloping wounded upon lonely road, or lying still beneath an orchard if rumor proved too late. She vowed then that if the gods returned him alive, she would see every promise she broke forgiven. If not, then woe to those who made her children weep. South of the neck, the flooded meadow proved endless, a swathe of bog tangled with willow. Ned's party slogged northward 2 days, subsisting on cattail roots and the last of salt beef. Leeches speckled Arya's calves. Fat Tomard complained of blisters. Ned's wound puckered red. At dusk of the 3rd evening they spied smoke rising slender from a copse. Harwin scouted, returned with news of Trapper's camp. Men of Blackwood Vale by their sigil. Safe enough. Around a cook fire, Ned exchanged stories with their chief, a wiry ranger named Dywyn. He told of Robert's death. Dywyn spat into flames. Realm's grown sick, he said. Men mutter river will run red from Moat Cailin to Maidenpool afore leaves fall. He offered smoked trout and directions to an abandoned holdfast upstream, thrice blessed by the old gods. Ned thanked him, leaving a silver stag despite the man's protest. As stars brightened, Ned limped to the water's edge. Sansa slept beneath a bearskin. Barristan kept watch, sword across knees. Arya practiced forms with needle in moonlight. Ned watched a while, pride easing tightness in chest. She moved like water, quick, sure, silent. Finally she sheathed and approached. "Will we fight Lannisters when we reach Robb?" she asked, voice hushed. "We may fight many," Ned said, "but fighting is not all. Swords break. Words break too. What matters is the hand that wields." Arya frowned as though weighing riddle. "I will wield true," she promised. He kissed her brow. "I know." At Riverrun, siege fires licked dawn-like glow upon clouds. Ser Jaime Lannister had encircled the Tully seat 9 days, catapults thudding by rhythm of heartbeat. Yet stone walls still stood, fish banners snapping. Within, Lord Hoster ailed, Edmure led sorties nightly, and Blackfish Brynden Tully paced ramparts, vowing Lannister pride would feed the river's pike before moon turned. Jaime laughed from Golden Destrier, but every dawn found another dozen red cloaks gutted on moat stakes. Now the call came. Tywin wanted Riverrun crushed before turning to relieve King's Landing. Jaime ordered ladders readied, scorpions at 4. Across the plain, catapult crews sang body as beams creaked. War smelled of sweat, piss, and hot pitch. Ned's band skirted 20 leagues north of that carnage, yet could see smoke pillars by day, red glare by night. Sansa sobbed softly the first time she glimpsed a town aflame. Arya rode stoic, but her knuckles whitened on reins. They reached the deserted holdfast, a ring of moss-clad stones round a well, and their Ned collapsed. Fever clutched him, wound seeped pus. Ser Barristan boiled water, cleaned rotted edges, stitched anew with horsehair. Arya fetched willow bark, Harwin hunted rabbit. Sansa washed cloths despite tears. For 3 days Ned drifted through mists where Lyanna's voice called and Bran's laughter echoed. Once he saw ice, the sword, floating across a frozen lake, point down, dragging crimson trail. He tried to reach it, but the ice cracked. He plunged, cold closed. He awoke to rain's scent, to Sansa's hand on his cheek. "Father," her voice trembled. "Please wake." Rain hammered roof of tattered thatch they had dragged over well. Ned blinked. Pain remained, but fever broken. He breathed the musk of wet earth and felt alive. "Arya found travelers," Sansa whispered. "Night's watch. They ride for the wall." Ned sat up, dizzy. At doorway stood Yoren, his tangled beard spotted with gray, the black of his garb stained road dust. 2 recruits lurked behind. A tall boy called PYP and a stunted lad Ned faintly recognized from Winterfell Yard. "Hot pie, was it?" Yoren tugged forelock. "M'lord," he rasped. "Rain near drowned Castle Black too, but ravens say you lost and dead. Proof they know bugger all." Ned managed a wry grin. "Not dead yet. Will you bear a message north?" Curt nod. Ned penned shaky lines for Robb, Maester Luwin, and for Benjen if he still lived. Yoren tucked them in oilskin. "Word is Stannis' siege chokes southern throat. If King's Landing falls before the lion rides, city'll burn. Some highborn call it the Clash of Kings. I call it shit slipping downhill. Best you keep north of Neck till stench passes." Ned thanked him, gave the man a dagger found on slain foe, and asked him to carry Arya disguised as boy. But Arya shook head fierce. "I won't leave you again. I lost you once." Tears glimmered. Ned pulled her close. Yoren left at dawn. Ned's party struck west toward Oldstones, hearts heavier but hope firmer. Behind them thunder rolled, cannons of gods warning all below. In King's Landing wildfire whispered. Cersei finally answered Stannis' parley, inviting him ashore under truce, then arraying hidden scorpions to rake his Kingsguard if he dared dock. Stannis spat at the invitation and instead ordered siege catapults to hurl dead horses across walls, spreading rot. Nightfall saw riots as hunger gnawed. The spider's whispers told of bakers hung for hiding crusts, of mothers selling infant for a loaf. Yet in the red keeps sept Circe knelt, praying not to the seven but to pride. Tywin would come, she told herself. She wrote ravens begging, promising Jaime's freedom, promising Myrcella's hand to whichever fry heir Walder chose. The words tasted ash, but desperation needed feast. Littlefinger delivered each letter, smiling, stamping wax. He had a second set penned too, offering King's Landing's treasury to Renly if he would ride against Stannis, offering Harrenhal to Varys if he would spirit Joffrey to safety should walls break, offering 100,000 dragons to the Iron Bank if they funded Selsales to fight Selsales. Chaos indeed was a ladder, and he meant to climb, rung by rung, over corpses if need be. Renly meanwhile licked wounds at Bitterbridge, Tyrell host swelling behind like blooming rose. Loras pressed him daily to strike while lions and stags warred, yet Renly hesitated. He dreamed of Father Stefan's shipwreck, of brothers' voices lost in storm, and woke sweating. Some nights he thought he saw ghost of Robert sitting at bed's foot, eyes bleeding boar's tuss. KS mouthing wrong crown, little brother. Those nights he clutched his fork beard and drank till sunrise. By mid-month Ned's band reached the Blue Fork, waters swift with snowmelt. At a ford stood 2 pine wagons, broken and burned, corpses of freemen sprawled beside spilled turnips. A banner of Fry slung from one cart, slit and smeared. Harwin cursed. The twins were near, but war touched every brush. They searched the bodies for survivors. None breathed. Sansa turned away gagging. Arya helped Barristan build cairn of stones. They crossed the river at dusk, cold rising waist-high. Ned's wound reopened in ice water. He nearly fainted but grit teeth. On far bank they found Fry riders encamped. Ser Stevern himself greeted them, an old man all bone and ambition. He eyed Ned's party like merchant's ledger. Lord Stark, rumors you dead reached even the twins. My father will be amused. Ned offered simple thanks and refused invitation to sup inside walls. He had no taste for Walder Frey's whimsies. Yet terms must be made. The neck still lay ahead and Walder's crossing saved days. He sent Barristan to negotiate while he convalesced in tent. Sansa reading aloud tales of Nymeria's voyage to amuse him, Arya practicing lunges outside. When Barristan returned, his expression was half dismay, half respect. The crossing is ours for a price. Betrothal of your daughter Arya to one Waldron Fry, and of your son Bran, when of age, to a Fry girl father chooses. Walder also wants you to foster 2 of his grandsons at Winterfell.
Ned sighed.
A steep toll, but less than losing a fortnight. Tell him I agree on Bran's match when he is well and grown enough to decide. Arya? He looked at the girl, hair wild, face smeared with dirt and joy of movement. Arya is promised to no one, but I will host his grandsons. That will have to suffice. Barristan returned with revised parchment. Walder accepted, though grudging. They crossed at sunrise, hooves echoing on planks, river churning below like boiling tea. Ned felt every board underfoot as if vengeance waited in gaps. Past the twins, ravens at last found them. One from Robb, its ribbon stark gray. It spoke of Riverrun besieged, Robb marching south with 12,000 foot, 2,000 horse, of his need for father's counsel swift. Another bore Maester Luwin's hand, recounting Bran's steady healing, Rickon's tantrums, Jon's posting to Shadow Tower. Tears blurred Ned's vision. He prayed gratitude to old gods. They rode in haste thereafter, cutting across grasslands still gold with end summer sun. Farmers cheered them, offered bread and onions. Some vowed loyalty, having lost kin to Lannister raids. Each story fanned Ned's resolve hotter. Near Seaguard they joined a column of Tallheart spearmen marching under boar banner of Tallheart's holdfast. Ser Helman recognized Ned and bowed low, pledging his men to guard until he reached Robb. The band swelled. What had been fugitives now looked a vanguard. Sansa rode amid shield wall like northern maiden of old saga. Arya slipped between ranks trading jokes. Barristan drilled captains in formation. At Maidenpool they found fisherfolk weeping over charred huts. Stannis' fleet had raided for provisions, burning stores to deny Lyon's use. Refugees clogged road north crying famine. Ned left them with 2 wagons of grain purchased at dear cost in silver rings stripped from his belt. He felt poorer and richer both. On Iron Man's Bay, Balon Greyjoy sat upon driftwood throne, salt spray sheeting his iron crown. His patch-cloaked priests moaned of the drowned god, of Kraken arms stir deep, of Westeros weakened like crab without shell. A raven from Cersei begged his fleet strike Stannis' rear. Balon laughed until tears cut cheeks. It sounded like seagull cries. He crumpled letter and flung it to waves. "Let Greenlanders drown one another," he growled. "We reap the wreck." Theon stood beside, torn between pride in father's scorn and longing for brothers he left. The sea offered no solace, only mirror to choice. Autumn's first chill chased leaves gold to brown as Ned crested hill and at last beheld a sight that drew tears. Robb Stark's host encamped along the Green Fork, campfires stretching to horizon like stars fallen. Wolves howled greeting. Tall Heart horns answered. Ned's horse stumbled down slope as sentries cried his name, and the camp burst like hive into roar. Men ran. Banners waved. Grey wind raced fleet as rumor to greet his master's sire. The dire wolf leapt, placing paws on Ned's stirrup, tongue lolling, eyes bright as moonlit snow. Ned stroked coarse fur, heart swelling. Robb pushed through throng, mail half-buckled, cheeks stubbled with youth. He halted, staring as though at ghost, then rushed forward, seizing father's bridle. Words choked. "We heard. I feared." Then he was weeping, and Ned's voice cracked as he murmured, "I live, my son, and proud of you beyond measure." Sansa slid down to fling arms round Robb. Arya shoved then hugged both. 3 siblings in a knot of joy that drew cheers. Even the stoic Northmen wiped eyes. That night a feast of salt mutton and flatbread rang beneath open sky. Robb recounted swift marches, ambush at the Whispering Wood where he captured Jaime Lannister, a prize beyond gold. Ned's eyes widened, but pride warred with dread. Jaime a captive meant Tywin's wrath unbound. Yet the boy had done what grown kings failed. Ned told of King's Landing, of Robert's will, of Joffrey's crimes. The gathered lords growled oath of vengeance. Meage Mormont spat into fire. Great John slammed cup until rim bent. Galbart muttered, "Time the North named king by its own blood." Ned felt stirrings he had not sought. But he saw the faces, saw the hope shimmering like frost in moonlight. Words hung in air unspoken. King in the North. He feared them, yet he could not deny the pulse they startled in his own chest. Later, alone with Robb in a len tent, Ned counseled patience. Free Riverrun first. Winter is upon heels. Marching south of Trident in snow invites doom. And Stannis, he holds claim by law. Robb's jaw flexed. Stannis will look north only to demand men, not grant aid. The realm forgot us until they needed our swords. Perhaps the time for crowns forged in Southron fires is done. Ned laid hand on his son's arm. Crowns are heavier than iron. If you bear one, be sure your neck is strong enough. Robb met his gaze, green eyes flaring. As yours was, father. Ned felt weight of years settle. I served a friend, not a crown, and paid dearly. He squeezed Robb's arm. Learn from that. Riverrun's siege ended in dawn fog when Robb's host struck from north, Blackfish from south, and Stone Mill's sluice gates unleashed torrent that swept Lannister siege ladders into whirlpool. Jaime fought like lion cornered, slaying 3 Northmen, but Grey Wind dragged him down and Harwin shackled wrists. Edmure wept with relief seeing Ned alive. Catelyn collapsed into husband's arms, sobbing joy and fury. They spent hours in Solar clinging to each other, recounting nights alone in dread. When at last tears ebbed, Catelyn whispered, "The gods returned you, yet war not done." Indeed, Tywin marshaled forces at Harrenhal. Stannis starved in Blackwater Bay. Renly flowered at Bitterbridge. Balon sharpened iron hooks. The Dornish watched like scorpions. Westeros cracked as wall of ice. A council gathered in Riverrun's great hall. Lined were Stark, Tully, Mormont, Umber, Karstark, Glover, Mal Lister, Blackwood, Fry, even Ser Barristan in borrowed mail. Robb proposed release of Jaime in exchange for sisters still captive. Yet Great John roared no lion should taste freedom till debts paid in blood. Galbart argued Jaime's head on spike would deter Tywin. Catelyn urged caution. Jaime's life was coin they could not mint twice. Ned rose, cane in hand, his thigh still stiff, voice calm but carrying. We stand upon edge of night. The realm tears itself into kings and corpses. I loved Robert, yet never his crown. I served him for bond between north and south, forged in fields red with the trident's blood. That bond broke when Lannister knives cut truth's throat. But do not think severing all ties leaves us whole. A lone wolf dies. Only the pack survives. Silence. Then Meej Mormont rumbled. Pack has no need of Southron leash. Let the wolf lead. Voices swelled. King in the north. They chanted, first a few, then dozens, then the hall thundered. Robb's cheeks flushed. Ned's heart lurched. He held up hand and hush fell. I am Eddard Stark, he said, and I was born not to rule but to guard. If my son would be king, let him weigh crown's thorns. He looked at Robb. What say you? Robb rose. He seemed suddenly neither boy nor man, but something forged of both and more. I say I will wear no crown that costs the honor of those I serve. I will fight for the North's freedom, but never for vanity, nor for vengeance alone. If you will follow me, it is to build a realm where justice answers every door. If you would rather kneel to another, I free you of fealty here and now. No one moved. Great John knelt, head bowed. Soon the hall knelt, chorus of swords striking flags upon stone. King in the north, they roared anew.
Ned watched, tear sprite.
He approached Robb, unsheathed a dagger, pricked the boy's palm and his own, pressing wounds together. Blood mingled. Then let the old gods hear. The wolf blood runs one pack. He clasped shoulders, eyes shining. Rise, Robb Stark, king in the north. That night Ned sat atop Riverrun's eastern parapet, moon silvering water below. Ser Barristan joined, 2 cups of pale ale in hand. They drank in silence. You made a king, Barristan said at length.
No, Ned replied.
I watched one rise. Barristan nodded. I served kings who rose by spear and kings who rose by chance. Few rose by hearts. Perhaps this one may stand taller for it. Below, torches floated like fireflies across camps. Men sharpening blades, mending mail, penning letters to wives. The river gurgled eternal. Ned felt winter's breath on night air, crisp and bracing. What now, Lord Stark? Barristan asked. Ned gazed south, past rolling darkness to distant fires unseen but felt. Stannis' catapults, Renly's banners, Tywin's forges. Now we guard the heart we forged, he said. We guard it against ice and against fire, against gold and against pride. And we wait for spring, if spring will come. Barristan drained cup. Then we best sharpen hope sharper than swords.
Ned smiled faintly.
Hope is a blade with no scabbard, old friend. Best keep it close to the heart. Stars wheeled overhead. Somewhere in fields beyond, wolves howled homage to new crown, and ravens beat black wings across sky heavy with portents. Winter crept, slow and inexorable, but so too did the stubborn pulse of honor that refused to die. And in that pulse there lay the promise that when the night grew deepest, the north would stand and remember. The river's hush under moonlight carried the promise of frost, though autumn's breath still scented the air with rotting reeds and late-bloom heather. Ned Stark leaned over Riverrun's parapet, listening to that hush, feeling each heartbeat echo against damp stone. Below, campfires dwindled to coals. The men of the north slept in the uneasy grace of victors who knew tomorrow might claim the laurels they wore tonight. Behind Ned, Catelyn lay curled on a feather pallet, her breathing slow at last after hours of whispered counsels and fiercer whispers of reunion. He dared not wake her for his wandering thoughts. She had wept enough. A faint scrape of boots drew his glance. Ser Barristan approached, a battered cloak of Tully crimson over mail. He carried 2 cups and offered one wordlessly. They drank mulled wine cooled by river breeze. For a long stretch they said nothing, sharing the stillness like old comrades, though they had worn opposing cloaks mere weeks before. Barristan spoke first, voice low. Scouts report Tywin draws half his host to Harrenhal's outer walls. The other half forges south on the Gold Road. He wants his prisoners back. Ned watched fog braid the water. Then he must swim or burn. Jaime's chains are riveted in Riverrun iron, and my son's spears are sharper than he dreams.
Chains rushed.
Spears splinter. I have served kings enough to know even victories wound the hand that holds them. Barristan's pale eyes sought the eastern horizon, blushing faint with false dawn. Stannis may breach King's Landing tomorrow or next moon. If he does, every balance tips. And the boy Renly gathers roses enough to choke half the reach. Your son's crown is new forged iron, untested by storm or sun. Ned flexed stiff fingers on the cup. I have thought of little but that. Silence settled again, pierced by distant wolf howls rolling across fields. We ride at morning, he said at last. Robb marches to relieve Seaguard and break Lannister lines along the coast. I ride for Storm's End with Barristan and a score to treat with Stannis. If honor may yet knit torn banners, we must try. Barristan's smile creased scars. An old knight riding to reason with an older lord. The singers will find poetry. Let them. I would rather find peace. Dawn's first pale bar appeared. Ned drained the cup and set it aside. Rest while you can, sire. We ride hard come light. Barristan inclined his head and paced away, cloak fluttering. Ned remained, letting night's last shreds slip through fingers like snowmelt. Somewhere south, a dragonless city waited to burn or be spared. Somewhere north, a home waited for its lord. Between lay war's grinding wheel, hungry for names to carve into stone. He turned toward the chamber where wife and daughters slept. For this night, at least, they were within reach. He would carry that warmth into the storm. The party left Riverrun under thin gold sun, banners furled to plain brown in hopes of passing unseen. Ned rode at the fore on a rangy gray destrier, thigh still aching but bound tight beneath sable-lined greaves. Ser Barristan kept flank, his white cloak exchanged for hooded roughspun. With them rode Harwin, Hallis Malin, Dywyn the Scout, and a dozen river knights sworn to Lord Blackwood. Grim men accustomed to forest war, silent as owls. Behind clopped a small wagon bearing provisions and 2 outriders. Arya, disguised in boiled leather jerkin, and Sansa, hood drawn deep. The girls had argued fiercely to join. Ned relented only when Catelyn herself urged it. Better near their father than among soldiers who might forget they are children, she'd said, eyes shining steel. They crossed the Tumblestone on a ferry of scabbed planks, paid by Blackwood coin. Hills unrolled, cloaked in oak turned russet and birch pale as bone. On the second evening they passed a burnt farmhouse where hogs picked at charred beams. A red cloak torn in half flapped from the scarecrow post, smeared with pitch to mimic blood. Sansa shuddered. Arya spat into the dirt. Ned ordered a cairn over the farmer's bones before moving on. 3 days' ride brought them to the King's Road fork south of Maidenpool. Their Dywyn, scouting ahead, returned at dusk with breath frosting. Caravan ahead, he rasped. Guild merchants from Gulltown by accent. They fly no banners, but 40 guards ride with halberd and crossbow. 2 wagons heavy with casks, maybe oil tar.
Ned weighed.
A clash risked wounds they could ill afford. But food stocks dwindled, and coin thinner still. Barristan advised parley. Better buy than bleed. Thus they approached at first light. The merchant captain, a plump man named Trevan Broom, eyed Ned's plain cloak and travel-stained leathers. Tar for King's Landing, purchased of Myrish traders, he boasted. Worth thrice its weight in dragons with a siege brewing. What holdfast's coin do you offer? Ned produced a silver wolf's head brooch. The North's, he said. 20 jars for safe escort past the Trident. Trevan laughed till his jowls quivered. Escort? I pay Lannister writ to pass unmolested. Barristan studied the scroll Trevan waved. Signed by Ser Gregor Clegane. He met Ned's eyes grim. That is no protection, only proof of doom. I slew 3 of Clegane's riders last fortnight. He will hunt this caravan for spite. Trevan's color drained. Ned's softened voice. Ride with us west to the Blackwood marches. My son holds those woods. He will buy your tar at war's rate and grant writ of the king in the north. The north, Trevan blinked. Your heraldry.
Ned lifted hood.
Gray shot his beard. Fatigue lined his brow, but stark features needed no herald. Merchant guards muttered. One knelt, recognizing the hand. Trevan swallowed, then flourished bow. 20 jars, aye, and we will follow. Deal struck, they rolled on together. Sansa befriended Trevan's shy daughter Elia, gifting her a carved direwolf Robb had whittled. Arya sparred sticks with merchant guards until one yielded bruised knuckles. Nights they camped under dripping pines, tar kegs stacked like round black dwarfs around fires. At Ned's request, Trevan's cooper tapped 2 casks and sealed them with cloth soaked in oil, instructions careful. Should the time come to fire a wall, these will serve well. 6 more sons carried them to the storm-lashed flats before Stonehelm. There they parted. Trevan turned into Coastal Road bearing a new Stark-inked bill safe pass, while Ned's company cut southeast across rain-chewed moors where gorse scratched ankles and thunder chased. The closer they drew to Storm's End, the fiercer the sky grew, as though renouncing its castle. Forked lightning etched black clouds, thunder rolled like boulders down cliffs. Barristan murmured legends of Durin God's grief defying Storm God's wrath. Arya drank the tale like mead. Sansa hid smiles of awe beneath hood. On the 6th night they spied the great drum towers of Storm's End, squat and stubborn above sea's Whitefang chasm. Fires dotted encircling camps. Stannis' host and pennants snapped. The crowned stag within fiery heart of the Lord of Light. Yet ranks seemed thin, many tents dark, siege lines ragged. Ned frowned. Tywin slipped off to scout. Before dawn he returned, face pale. Plots within plots, he muttered. Renly's green tide reached Bitterbridge but moved not. Tyrell lords whisper chants of marriage to Baratheon Younger. Meanwhile, within Stannis' camp, Lord Alistair Florent quarrels with Davos Seaworth. Half their provisions lost to storms. And he hesitated. Some speak of shadows walking the walls at moon's zenith. Ned raised brows. Camp gossip. Aye, but men fear. They say Stannis consorts with a red priestess from Ass High. She burnt statues of the 7 nights past. Her flames burned black and purple. Barristan's jaw tightened. I have seen zealotry devour kingdoms faster than swords. We ride at dawn's full, Ned decided. Open negotiation with caution, but truth. They approached the siege line under truce banner, the direwolf stitched silver on white. Sentinels clad in Baratheon black escorted them through muddy lanes to a command pavilion near Gatehouse. Rain pelted taut canvas. Inside, Stannis Baratheon stood hunched over a plank map weighted by stones. He wore plain boiled leather, crown absent. Candles cast gaunt shadows upon his hollows. Beside him loomed Melisandre of Ass High, red robes hugging curves, ruby choker pulsing faint as heartbeat. Davos Seaworth lingered near flap, salt and pepper beard damp. Stannis' blue eyes pierced Ned. I heard rumors of your death, Lord Stark. Lies multiply in war as lice on corpses. Ned inclined head. Truth may yet thrive. He glanced at Melisandre, who smiled like a red cat. I come to parley, to join cause of rightful king. Stannis' lips twitched, near smile or tick. Rightful, a word weighed by swords these days. Yet you kneel to your son now, if ravens speak true. Robb is proclaimed king in the north, Ned said, careful. But he pledges no treason against legitimate claim to Iron Throne. The north seeks only freedom from Lannister tyranny. Freedom granted by whose leave? Stannis asked. The realm's laws bind all under one crown. Laws falter beneath murder, Ned replied. Robert charged me to guard his heir of true blood. I know your claim by law and by blood stands firm, yet his bastard's murderers sit a throne of lies. Robb fights them, not you. Melisandre's ruby glowed brighter. The Lord of Light shows me a great darkness rising in the north. Wolves howling in snowstorm, dead things with blue eyes. Your son may claim crown, yet winter's foulness will claim him unless the one true king stands at realm's heart.
Ned stiffened.
The north has seen winter's dead before. Let her not forecast doom to coerce oaths. She laughed soft. Doom requires no coercion, Lord Stark. It comes regardless. Stannis waved irritation. Enough riddles, woman. He faced Ned. You offer alliance? I offer truce, Ned said. Release Sansa and Arya under my guardianship. Proclaim Robb Warden of the North, free to defend against wildling raids and winter's threats. In return, we withdraw from Southern War and hold no blade against your claim. When Iron Throne secured, we treat. Stannis folded arms. Rain drummed canvas like fists. Davos cleared throat. Your Grace. Stannis silenced him. Interesting terms. Yet why not bend the knee now? Your lordship could keep Winterfell under my banner. The realm must not fracture. Ned met his gaze. Bend my knee and break my sons? I cannot. Robb's men spilled blood to cast off Southron yoke. They will not yield for parchment. Then war, Stannis said, flat. Negotiations dragged 3 days.
Ned pressed virtue.
Stannis pressed law. Melisandre pressed prophecy. Davos brokered moments of civility, but the gulf gaped. Barristan argued that uniting against Lannisters first would spare thousands. Stannis insisted the wolf must kneel. Finally, Ned conceded to carry terms back to Robb. Stannis granted 6 days safe passage, nothing more. On eve of departure, Melisandre sought Ned alone at cliff edge. Wind tore her red skirt. Sea sprouted white spears far below. Moon carved her like ivory. You serve old gods, she said, eyes dark. They are deaf. The night comes. Only Lollaress flame melts its shadows. Stannis is Azor Ahai reborn. Aid him or perish in eternal winter. Ned's fingers brushed hilt. I have met priests peddling fear for coin. Yours is free yet costlier. Keep prophecy. She leaned in, breath warm. Ice and fire must join, else the darkness will swallow all. She pressed something into his palm. A polished obsidian dagger, edge wicked. Dragonglass pierces the cold ones. A gift for a stubborn heart. He closed fingers around it, unsettled. Why aid me? Because the flame showed me a direwolf guarding the dawn. Do not let pride blind you to purpose. She drifted back into shadow, ruby pulsing like ember. Ned stared after until wind claimed her footsteps. He looked at the blade, dark as night but glinting crimson. They quit Storm's End before dawn. Rain ceased. Air smelled washed clean, though tension clung. Sansa rode silent, troubled by glimpsing the Red Woman. Arya muttered of witches and would have spat curses but for father's weary glare. By third dusk they reached the rolling meres of the Kingswood. Tywin scouted Lannister outriders ahead. Ned ordered detour along game trails. That night they camped among blackthorn, fire hidden. Barristan cleaned his longsword, voice hushed. If Stannis refuses, you risk 2 wars. Every path risks such, Ned answered. Yet I will not force Robb to bow. The North bent once and bled for it. If winter brings dead things, we must stand united on our own ground. And if South burns meanwhile?
Ned sighed.
Perhaps ashes will smother rivalry. Barristan shook head, smiling sadly. 15 leagues north of King's Landing the column found ruin. A hamlet of 10 cottages put to torch, bodies hung from beams, villagers wearing Stormlander colors. Lannister helmets littered mud. Black smoke still coiled. Children's small shapes lay too. Sansa clutched father, sobbing. Arya's face hardened to stone. Ned dismounted, knee near buckling, and knelt by a child no older than Rickon. He plucked a charred wooden stag from fingers stiff in death, placed it inside his cloak. We bury them, he said, voice flat. It took the entire night. They set stones over 23 graves. Rain began again as dawn paled. Ned spoke no prayer. The sky did it with tears. At the Green Fork crossing, a Stark patrol hailed them, scouts ahead of Robb's vanguard. Word carried. Robb shattered a Lannister spear thrust at Seaguard, pushing them back across Hag's Mire. Tywin moved east, but Jaime still captive. Ned quickened pace. Fever worried his wound, but duty spurred. 2 days later, he rejoined Robb at Seven Streams, where the waters of the Trident met like tangled veins. The king in the north welcomed him with joy turned to frustration as Ned recounted negotiations. They argued in secluded pavilion. Robb pounded table. He would see us kneel while he prattles prophecy? He sees law, Ned corrected. But more, he sees threat. Our crown denies his claim's universality. Then let him see our swords, Robb snapped. Swords cannot kill winter, Ned said, producing the obsidian dagger. He told of Melisandre's warning. There are wars north of war. I believe them. Robb's anger cut to confusion. Old tales. Tales stabbed me once, Ned murmured. On the wall I saw bones that walked. Benjen saw more. We dismissed, but... He pressed the dragonglass into Robb's palm. Believe enough to prepare. Robb studied the blade. And what of Stannis? If he breaches King's Landing, Tywin will turn on us while we look north. Then we must forge shield of alliances. The Riverlords stand. The Vale might yet. The Tyrells weigh marriage.
Ned paused.
You must send envoys. Robb breathed deep. I will. He looked at his father. Ride to White Harbor. Speak to Lord Manderley. Gather ships. We may need to ferry men to Eastwatch if the dead rise. Ned clasped his shoulder. I will. Sansa begged to remain with Mother in Riverrun. Ned agreed, leaving Hallis Malin and 10 guard. Arya insisted on riding north with him. He accepted, though heart heavy. They left within a fortnight. Ned, Arya, Barristan, and 100 riders threading the neck like iron ticks. Walder Frey granted passage grudgingly when Ned produced Florence seal showing Stannis recognized the twins' neutrality for now. Along the green fork frost rhymed reeds. Autumn's gold died into winter's upturned knives. Near Moat Cailin, ravens came, King's Landing ablaze. Wildfire had consumed Blackwater Bay. Stannis' fleet shattered. Renly assassinated in tent. Some claimed a shadow with a man's face. Tywin marched through Kingsroad, forging alliance with Tyrells by marrying Joffrey to Marjorie. Lannister banners again snapped over the Red Keep. Ned read the parchment thrice, each line a nail hammered into plans. Barristan cursed softly, eyes glistening fury. They gave crown to Boy Butcher. He touched white cloak folded in satchel. My oath once bound me to protect the realm. Perhaps still. Ned said nothing for a long mile's ride. Rain turned to sleet, stinging cheeks. Finally he spoke. You owe realm truth. The boy is no king but puppet. You know that. You serve justice best beside wolves now. Barristan considered, then nodded. Then wolves shall have my sword. At last they crested a rise and the neck spread before them. Endless bog, water black as sky, tussocks pale as bone. Far north, beyond faint line of trees, Ned glimpsed a smear of white at horizon, the wall's promise. He felt younger and older at once. Winter whispered, close. That night at Camp Arya sat sharpening needle, her breath ghosting. When we reach Winterfell, she asked, what then?
Ned poked ambush.
We fortify, we send word to the wall, we gather dragonglass, and we wait for spring or for darkness. Arya's eyes reflected flame. Then we sharpen hope sharper than swords, like you said. He smiled despite chill. A blade with no scabbard. She laid her small hand on his. We'll hold it together. He folded her fingers into his, feeling her pulse quick and warm. Above them stars wheeled like cold beacons. Somewhere, the dire wolves of the north howled a chorus that felt both warning and welcome. Ned's stark closed eyes, breathing icy night, and listened as the music of coming winter rose to meet the courage in their blood.